How you doing, Jersey? Welcome to the Star Ledger Newsroom, Thursday, October 2nd. Well, as we speak, the USS Intrepid is on its way back to its berth on Manhattan's west side. You'll remember that the decommissioned aircraft carrier turned museum was stuck in the mud back in 2006, and it took them a few tries to get it out before they finally were able to tow it to Bayonne for a paint job. And they took it to Staten Island for a renovation. This actually sounds like something that might happen to a car that gets stolen around here. Seriously though, it's a fantastic museum, and it's going to be back in place on the west side of Manhattan, and it's going to reopen on November 8th. Right now that is heading up the Hudson River. It's quite a sight, and we hope to have some video on that as well. Our next item, Belle Meade resident Daniel Gray runs a blog called MPGomatic.com. MPG standing for, of course, miles per gallon. And the blog is devoted to all things fuel efficiency. He has charts on there, graphs, he has calculators, reviews of different cars, and tips on how to get more fuel efficiency out of your car. This past weekend at the New Jersey Motorsports Park in South Jersey, he caught up with a couple who are billed as two of the world's most fuel-efficient drivers. Now, these two crossed the United States in a diesel Jetta, not sold yet in the United States, but coming soon, and got almost 60 miles per gallon. Dan sent us a little bit of video of his conversation with them.
Hi, this is Dan Gray for MPGomatic.com, and we're here at the New Jersey Motorsports Park with John and Helen Taylor, who have just completed a 48-state tour of the United States. They've just set a record for the lowest fuel consumption with a record of 58.8 miles per gallon. That's remarkable. Now, there are lots of tips that we see over and over and over again, and I hate to see those recycled, because no matter what, they're the same 10 tips. We know to take the stuff out of the trunk. We know how to fill up our tires. We know not to take those jackrabbit starts, even though we like to when we need to. Can you give me 3 tips that people might not have normally thought of as being really great improvements for their fuel economy?
I think when you're coming to a stop, or if you're slowing or stopping, I think if you take your foot off the gas, leave your car in gear, and
change down through the gears. Yeah. If you see the traffic lights 150 yards away, change down through the gears. By the time you've got to the traffic lights, you're in 3rd gear, they've changed from red to green, you've still got the momentum to take you forward, and guess what? You don't use as much energy to start the car up again.
I think what we've noticed is a lot of the drivers in America drive very inconsistently. So a really key point about getting good fuel economy is by having consistent revs. So if you can drive in a straight line that is not weaving in and out of the traffic, and you're not always slamming on your accelerator to get from point A to point B quickly, then slamming on your brakes, you can save up to 1/3 of your fuel just by driving smoothly, consistently.
And if you've got your mother-in-law in the car, get her out of there, because for every 100 pounds extra weight you have in the car, you waste 2% of the fuel efficiency.
I'm not going there.
I love my mother-in-law. She looks just like my wife.
Had to say that. Good recovery.
All right, you can see more of that interview and more about that couple's trip on Dan's blog. Again, it's MPGomatic.com. Thanks to Dan for that. Also, as an aside, you know, I've caught up with Dan via Twitter, and it's always a good thing to subscribe to my Twitter feed. You can do that on the Ledger Live blog page at NJ.com/LedgerLive. I cannot say enough about this event coming up this weekend. It's a it's Jersey City Studio Arts Tour. It's fantastic. I've gone a couple times myself. You get a map, and all the artists in downtown Jersey City have their studios wide open. You just walk around, go to whichever one you want, walk in and out. It's great to see art displayed in the places where it's made, as opposed to going to a stuffy museum or a gallery. We have a video by Jennifer Weiss that takes a look at one of the artists participating. Check it out.
Pop artist Robert Piersanti threw a party recently to celebrate the opening of his new studio. The workspace is also his new home. It's in Jersey City in a 19th century building near Hamilton Park.
I think it's a nice combination of old and new, and sort of like my work, you know.
The building once housed stables for horses that Wells Fargo used for deliveries. Piersanti said a record producer rehabbed the space that now belongs to him and his wife and daughter. It's full of his art supplies and photos of his muses, mostly local women who pose for his spunky, provocative portraits.
Like a goldfish, when you put it in a bigger bowl, it grows a little. So the paintings, I think, will start getting larger, and the projects will get bigger now. I'm not so confined by space.
The Pop Art Factory, as Piersanti calls it, will be open again Saturday and Sunday during Jersey City's Artist Studio Tour.
All right, we're going to wrap it up taking a look at some comments coming in on the NJ.com news blogs. Yesterday we had an item about 76 illegal immigrants being arrested in a 6-day sweep by federal officials, and tons of comments coming in on this. Always a hot topic, immigration is. A lot of people, of course, blaming illegal immigrants for costing the society and costing the government. JC's Finest retorts here, saying that being that some of you brought up a very valid point of revenue lost on illegal immigrants, let's review what our own employers were just hit with from posting comments like ours. 10 minutes reviewing this article, 2 minutes typing and submitting a comment, 3 minutes making sure your comment was posted, times 102 comments already posted. We just stole 25.5 hours from our employers during less than one workday. So, pot calls the kettle black there. All right, that wraps up Ledger Live for today. Keep in touch. Send us your photos, videos, emails. Shoot them to us at ledgerlive@starledger.com. And, of course, you can log on and sound off on our news blogs at NJ.com. All right, Jersey, take it easy.